The Eurozone appears to be past the worst of its crisis, and its most stricken economies are beginning to recover. But there are nonetheless still plenty of headwinds ahead for the bloc. With me to discuss some of these themes is Olli Rehn, European Commissioner for Economic and Monetary Affairs. Mr. Rehn, can I start with the threat of deflation in parts of the Eurozone? How real is it?
I believe that it is not a serious threat for various reasons. First of all, the European Central Bank and its President Mario Draghi has been very clear that the ECB will, if necessary, take action to prevent deflation. But at the same time, yes, we are experiencing apparently a rather long period of low inflation, which has its pros and cons, but it also gives room for active monetary policy. In fact, the low inflation in Southern Europe is part and parcel of the rebalancing of the European economy. But at the same time, it would be important that in the surplus countries of the Eurozone, inflation would be somewhat faster, so that we could see an impact on the exchange rate, and we could thus also improve the chances of rebalancing moving smoother and faster, especially in Southern Europe, where that is needed.
And what are the prospects, do you think, of getting faster domestic demand in the northern part of the Eurozone, particularly in Germany?
It is an important issue, and that's why we have raised this matter recently to the agenda, following the revision of statistics on German current account surplus, which is currently at the level of around 7% of GDP. It's not attacking Germany's excellent external economic performance, as this is sometimes perceived in the German debate. Instead, we want to focus on the reforms to reduce the structural obstacles of growth in the domestic economy of Germany.
And the flip side of the argument might be a country like France, where arguably there hasn't been enough underlying reform of the economy. Do you think you should be tougher on France in terms of demanding change?
I believe that the reinforced economic governance of the Eurozone is a matter of partnership which requires ownership by the member states, by the concerned member states. In fact, I ended my introductory remarks in the Eurogroup last week by calling from Germany and France complementary economic policies. Germany should increase domestic demand and boost investment, while France should intensify economic reforms.
One of the other concerns facing the Eurozone is progress towards banking union, and particularly an agreement, whether the bloc will have an agreement in time on backstops needed if banks need to be wound up and capital injected using taxpayers' money. Are you really confident that we can get an agreement before the end of this year?
I'm confident that we will get a political agreement on the matter on the single resolution mechanism before Christmas. And then the legislative work will follow and will be concluded before the European Parliament starts its electoral recess in the end of March or early April.
Including on the question of the backstop and whether European Eurozone money, taxpayers' money, would be available if required?
Yes, that has to be part of the package. In fact, we have already a clear agreement as regards the marching order of backstops, so that the first step is that you need to try to fill any possible capital holes from the markets, from investors, or internally from share owners and junior debt holders. And only once this private route has been exhausted, then one would turn to state support to protect the taxpayers' money. And then the second step would be national backstops, and that of course in line with the state aid rules. And the third step only would be European backstops, such as the European Stability Mechanism, if the national backstop is not able to carry the burden.
How worried should we be if there is no European backstop in place?
We have a European backstop in place, and we have a system of European backstops, both private, national, and then EU level or Eurozone level backstops.
Olli Rehn, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.